Hi, it's Vicki. I wanted to take a few minutes and share a little bit about internal family systems. It is one of the main modalities I use in my private practice, and sometimes people aren't familiar with it. I've made a few notes, so if you see me turning the page, that's just because IFS is so rich. And it's also experiential. So sometimes it can be hard to tell you a little bit about it just using words, but I wanted to because, again, people might not be familiar with it. So IFS works on the belief that we have multiple parts of our personality. And sometimes parts language isn't a far stretch from how we normally think. We might say, a part of me wants to quit my job and start my own business. And then another part of me is kind of like, wow, we would lose our health insurance and we'd lose the predictability of a paycheck. So we already have two different parts that sometimes are in a little bit of an internal struggle. Sometimes we have a part that's not very nice in traffic, and then we don't ever show that part to other people, like ever. So we know that we have different parts of our personality, but IFS really expands on this. And I guess the best way to start explaining that expansion is that it has three categories of parts. One is the managers or the protectors. One is firefighters, and the other is exiles. So I'll start with the managers. Managers are preemptive. They try to go out and kind of control and organize and orchestrate our lives so that we don't experience things that we find unpleasant, that we don't experience hard feelings to get through. So say a manager is a people pleaser part of you, or a perfectionistic part, or a part that likes to have everything planned and everything on your calendar. Those parts are trying to kind of calm down the normal chaos and try to preemptively keep us from feeling rejection or judgment, or if a people pleaser part is in your internal family, then that part is going to want to try to make people like you so that they'll never leave and you won't have to feel the hard feelings of being alone. Firefighters are more reactive. I kind of think about managers as being sort of the front runners, kind of the forward facing us. And firefighters are more of the second line of defense. They kind of come in after we've spent all day trying to be perfect or all day trying to people please. So firefighters are reactive, and they can be just for general sake, binge watching Netflix or drinking or excessive shopping online or something like that. They can even be sleeping. That might show up in depression. So firefighters will come in and kind of try to decrease the intensity of a feeling. And just imagine if you're trying to people please or be perfect, we know that that's not exactly, we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to please everyone. So sometimes we're going to have feelings, even though those managers are trying to keep the feelings down. And sometimes I like to think about firefighters as coming in after the fact, like after a long day, and kind of just helping us escape and helping us get away from it all. Then we have the exiles. Exiles are what they sound like. They are parts that we've kind of pushed to the side. Generally, those are going to be parts that are feelings. Again, a general way to explain it. Shame or sadness or being alone or rejected. We really don't want to feel those things, and that's why our managers hustle so much. And then that's why the firefighters come in and kind of help us calm down. Everybody's trying to keep that level of emotional intensity down. There is a fourth type of part in internal family systems, and that is self, with a big S. IFS calls it self-energy, And those qualities of self-energy are, they like to use the different C words to describe capital S self-energy. Those are things like compassion, creativity, confidence, calm, caring, centeredness, connectedness. And so we actually often push those qualities of us aside too, or we weren't really taught maybe early on how to really live in those qualities. So we don't have a familiar taste of them. What we mostly have is a familiar taste of what the managers are trying to do for us in our daily lives. So IFS is very experiential in how you work with these different parts and how they interact with each other. What I like to do in a session using IFS is I like to help clients map out those three main categories of parts: firefighters, managers, and exiles, so that we can actually see, like, oh, this is my dynamic, this is my pattern, these are the things that I do sort of automatically. These are the thoughts that I think or the behaviors that I fall into, just trying to manage and bring down those intense feelings that I don't want to feel. I love this model. It has been transformational for me personally, and I can see it in my clients. I can see it help them shift their perspective from being merged with a part. Is one of the things IFS talks about, is being merged with a part, and you can kind of only see the world through that part's eyes or perspective. So mapping out a client's pattern or the dynamic that they fall in often helps them shift that perspective and kind of unmerge and be able to see, like, oh my God, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've had people more than once, and I absolutely love it when they say, I never thought about it this way. I've never looked at my habits or my behaviors this way. So I really enjoy seeing that new perspective and that different awareness come up for my clients. And I know for me personally, when I receive IFS as a client, I have kind of broken through barriers that I just thought, oh, that's just going to be the way it is for me. One of them is my pretty intense and harsh inner critic. So growing up with a critical parent and some fear about being criticized, I internalized my own critic and became pretty much a people pleaser and a perfectionist to try to get other people to not criticize me. So when I was able to actually feel and the felt sense of this feeling of, oh, I'm okay, I don't have to be so harsh with myself all the time. When I actually felt that and not just thought of it and was like, yeah, I should be feeling that way about myself, but actually felt it, I knew that IFS worked. So hopefully that's giving you a little bit of information about internal family systems, and you've hung with me to the end of the video. I could talk about this for a lot longer, but that's just a snapshot. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call, and I'd love to do some of this work with you because, as I say, I've never seen so many people really make changes that stick. Making changes from the inside out is what I call it. Getting some of that self-compassion on board and helping them make changes that they maintain. I've never used another modality that has been able to do that for myself and my clients. So anyway, I hope that was a ringing endorsement. And if you have any questions, please give me a call. Okay, thanks.